Today I want to address some symptoms of when a child is being abused. And specifically, I'll be speaking today about sexual abuse in this video, right? Although some of these symptoms will also apply to general abuse, right? But sexual abuse, I'm going to be speaking about today. This is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor and your leverage for change. Please remember to like and share this video if you think you'll find this, if somebody else could find this useful, this information useful. I believe this is useful information only because I've seen so many examples of either parents not noticing that their child is being abused. And a lot of times, as we all know, what happens is the abuser, especially when it is it doesn't matter who it is, but a lot of times the abuser is somebody in the same home. It could be the father, it could be the mother, but mostly the dads, right? Or uncles or friends that you have over. Or it could be individuals, friends who come over as a play date. I saw in the news the other day how a father caught a boy molesting his 11-year-old son, and basically just went ballistic on him and beat him up, right? But the thing is that we trust these people to come into our homes, and you don't really know them. The person could be a good friend, and they're not going to tell you that they're a pedophile. Okay, guys, they're not going to tell you. So please do not be, do not hide your head under some rock, thinking that everybody that you meet is going to be mentally stable. Sometimes these individuals, they have secrets and stuff, and you don't know. They're not going to tell you that they're coming to your house because they're wanting to molest your children. So please be very careful, and also don't leave your kids with people. Doesn't matter if it's your friend, guys. Don't let them stay over. I mean, be very careful. Be very, very careful. These days, there are so many different types of abuse, and so many claims of abuse by children. The thing about it is that I'm sure that some individuals who've been abused know the repercussions of what sexual abuse can cause when they were children. I really, I've heard so many horror stories. These kids suffer for the rest of their lives. It changes their whole trajectory in life. It diminishes their ability in every single way. Their mental, physical, and everything. They're just totally wrecked. And so many things happen, guys. So please be very careful and mindful of your children. So what I'm going to be speaking to about today is really, what are some of the symptoms that you can notice? Because as I may not have mentioned earlier, but a lot of times, especially those who have been abused, they'll know that the perpetrator will tell them or threaten them, or that if they say anything to anyone, they'll kill the parents or the loved ones or whoever it is, and the child is fearful, and they will keep it a secret, even if it was a child who would tell things, talk freely before. No, all of a sudden they change. So I'm going to be speaking about some of the changes that you will notice from a child who may have been sexually abused, right? And just don't want to talk. Now, the first thing you'll see is behavioral changes. If you know that this child was happy-go-lucky, playful, funny, whatever it might be, there's certain things that and there's some change, a behavioral change, something is wrong. You need to look into that, right? And you may not want to go out and ask them, outright, because they are afraid, because that person told them and threatened them that if they say anything to you, they're going to hurt either them or the whole entire family. So you have to be careful and kind of watch around them. Notice the individuals who come around them, right? And also who are they're in contact with as well. How there may be changes in response and behavior changes around these individuals. Maybe before, when they just met them, they were happy and playful and everything in front of you, but something happened. And so now you can see that withdraw, or their whole expression changes when that person is in the room. So be very mindful, guys. Please be very mindful, because what happens is that these kids, they grow up into adults. And as a child, can you imagine a poor little 4-year-old child being abused by an uncle, or even their parent, their dad, or a stepdad, or whatever it might be, or uncle? It is traumatic. It is a traumatic thing, right? I'm sure it must be traumatic. A poor child, and now worse is that they are fearful to tell anyone because of the threat against their families, right? So notice behavioral changes, and it might look like aggression or defiance or some withdrawal from some social activities, or just withdrawal. When you would be outside playing or something, they're now locked up in their rooms and won't come out, right? The next thing can be change of behavior around, as I mentioned before, the perpetrator. Notice how they respond, or the behavior might change from what it was previously to what is happening now around certain family members, or family, or friends, or parent, or whoever. Whatever it is, notice all of those things, guys. They may also have difficulty sleeping, because they just keep that thing just keep playing around in their mind, or they don't know when this person is going to. If it's a parent who live in the house, then they don't know when this person will turn up, right? So difficulty sleeping, including nightmares and night terrors. Night terrors. Now, this is a spiritual thing, guys. A lot of individuals won't know about this, but night terrors is a spiritual thing. These are demonic attacks, and spiritual attacks. And what happens is that night terrors, spiritual attacks happen when, because of certain things that happen, that poor child is abused. It has given legal ground to the enemy, demons, devil, these are real, to attack and come and possess that child, right? So they're going to have to really oppress that child with night terrors. Be very careful, guys. You'll hear them complain about night terrors, nightmares, difficulty sleeping, right? That could be one thing. Now, remember, none of its own by itself is an indication. It really is maybe a whole. More than one of these should be an indication. Just don't think that one of these symptoms, it might be my child is being molested, right? And also, eventually, you might want to be able to ask the child in a way that they may not suspect that they're being asked about the abuse, right? So find ways to really, that means you have to be able to, the child has to be able to trust you. Because guess what? A lot of children don't have that. They don't trust their parents or their caregivers, because their caregivers really don't pay any attention to them. They don't take the time to form a relationship with them. They're busy doing on the phone, at work, and when they're home, they're not really paying attention to them. So be very aware of your child's changes in their behavior. The next thing is they may develop, all of a sudden they're now fearful and anxious. They weren't fearful and anxious before. All of a sudden, they're fearful and anxious, particularly around certain adults or in certain situations. Look out for that, guys. All right, notice that. You may notice also more sexualized behavior. Sexualized behavior or language that is inappropriate for a child of that age. And you, especially if you know that you haven't really introduced them, or they have not been introduced by TV or anything to that kind of behavior or that language, then be very aware of that as well. There could also be regression to earlier developmental stages in terms of bedwetting, or they may start sucking their thumb again, right? Or they may start bedwetting again when they have already gone through that process. If you see them regressing to that, that might be an indication of abuse, okay? Another thing could be physical complaints. They may have stomach aches, headaches, or unexplained pain, right? Imagine an adult having sex with a child. So you know that it's going to be just, I don't even want to think about it. It's just disgusting. And just that child is not prepared, that child's body is not prepared for that kind of a thing, right? So just imagine they're going to have some kind of a physical pain from that, right? Other things like they might want to hurt themselves. They might want to do self-harming behaviors such as cutting or burning or hitting their head, that kind of a thing, right? There could also be a change in eating habits such as loss of appetite or overeating, because they're trying to soothe something. Especially with the overeating and loss of appetite, is just like they don't even care. They probably just want to die, right? So you have to be very careful to watch out for these changes in eating habits. Maybe they love to eat before and they enjoy certain foods, and all of a sudden they don't enjoy that anymore. They may have difficulty paying attention or concentrating, because all of these things are going on in their minds. These fear, when I go to bed tonight, is this person going to turn up again when I do this, that kind of a thing. And just a lot of rumination of this, replaying of this horrible thing that's happened to them. So be very aware of if they have issues concentrating or paying attention. They could also fall into depression, including persistent feelings of sadness and just hopelessness. They don't care about life anymore. When this child was a happy-go-lucky, fun person wanting to, enjoy life, and all of a sudden, depression. That's a red flag, guys. That's a sign something is not right. It is important to note that all children who experience sexual trauma or molestation will exhibit these symptoms. Not all of them. Not all will exhibit these symptoms, and some children may not exhibit any outward signs at all. If you suspect a child has been sexually abused, it is important to really speak to them and to get them help. All right. I hope that you've learned something, and also it is a good thing that you could pass on to your friends who have kids, so that they could also learn some of these symptoms. So like, share, and also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and videos, anything to do with family relationships or intimate relationships, romantic relationships, marriages, stuff like that, or even just life challenges. I really work with a lot of different demographic, and so guys, please, if you need to reach out for help, for therapy, for in any case, for any of these things that I speak on my channel, there on the description below this channel, there is my contact information. There is, every time I have a new client, I speak with them before so I offer a free 30-minute consult for my clients, so that they can let me know what's going on, and I can also tell them and kind of discuss how it is that I operate the coaching with them, so that they can have their answers, their questions answered, and we can proceed from there. This is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.